There we go. We are live. Hello. Good morning, everybody. All right. I guess this is one, I don't know. I don't know if I want to do like the extensive sharing on this one. Um, but I'll share it somewhat. So let's go ahead and get over to here and let's share. So I will share this within my platforms. If you guys would like to share, by all means, do so. Thank you for the stars, Jasmine. Appreciate it. Nope, paper has not been mailed out. All right. Hello, everybody. I was supposed to do this yesterday, but I had to put on my mommy cap and I had to help the little one with studying and schoolwork. So was not able to do this one yesterday. So I said first thing in the morning I wake up, meant to do it at my regular time at 10:15, but then I had to deal with a bank issue. So we are here now. Hello, hello, hello. Yeah. So it was asked um that I kind of do this, and my team also thought that it would be good. And now I have to figure out all the stuff I'm going to say here, how to summarize it or make it a little bit more compact, or I might just end up posting this video and be kind of different on the About Me section of my website once it's finally finished. But in this live video, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of background about me because I constantly get the question, do you have a graphics design background? How did you get started with this? Are you self-taught and things like that? So hopefully this video, this broadcast will help you understand me a little bit better and understand why I am the way I am now, why I'm so passionate about the things that I talk about, and just a little bit about me. Um, so so for those of you that don't know me, maybe this is your first time because this video is being shared somewhere, or maybe this is your first time catching me live. If you don't know who I am, my name is Shakeya. My company is Soloholics Anonymous. I also have another company, which is why the name of my other YouTube channel is Elite Prints and Creations. That originally started off as Elite Event. I was into doing like event planning and event decorating and things like that. That eventually became Elite Prints and Creations. And that's kind of the company that I do all of my custom things here in Miami, but we will get to that. But for the most part, here on social media, I'll say, because I'm streaming to several different platforms. Oh, wait, you know what? I'm sorry. This is one that can be streamed to Instagram. So let's do that as well. All right, let's go over to Soloholics Anonymous. Now, how I'm going to set this up, I have no idea. All right, let's go to, is it home? Y'all do know I don't know how to initiate live videos, right, on Instagram. Just thought I should let y'all know that it's always weird when I'm doing Instagram because I always forget where to go to actually start the live. There we go, live. And then let's flip this around to me. And it's going to be kind of weird though, because I can't talk. I'm going to be talking like down here and up there. So they'll just be looking up my nose. So you guys will see my eyes go back and forth because I'm going to attempt to do this on Instagram as well. All right. So let's go and hold on. Can I put, Can I put, oh, there we go, title. At, oh, wait, title. All right. Let's see. That is going to be kind of weird. I wish I can put it like right there, but I can't. Hold on. 1 second, y'all. I didn't think about Instagram until now. So I'm going to, I have a small tripod somewhere, but I don't know where it went. Okay, there's that one, but where is the clip? The tripod. Is that out there? Where is the clip for my tripod? I don't know. All right, let's see. Maybe if I put this here and put this here. Y'all see how this is rigged up. And if this slips and falls while I am on IG Live, that is going to be so freaking funny. Yeah, but see, it's leaning back. But I guess that's the best that I'm going to see. No, that's not going to work. Okay, that's not going to work. All right. Oh, yeah, that is probably where it's at, in the garage. From when I was doing the other. You're so smart. I don't feel like going over there though. But that actually is probably where it's at. All right, but this will work. All right, so yeah, now I am live on Instagram. So I am officially streaming to all platforms. But let's put my phone on Do Not Disturb. All right. So hello again. Hello, everybody. So if you're watching on Instagram, I kind of did an intro already. This was requested for me to do a video on just kind of like me and who I am and the experience behind the brand, or the about me. I'm always getting asked, did I go to school for graphic design? What's my background and things like that. So that's what this video will be on. So it's kind of like a video version of an about me section for a website. All right. So my name is Shakeya Lavelle. And my company is called Sillaholics Anonymous. This is something that I started about 5 or 6 years ago. Just in like being in different groups and wanting to help others. It was right around the time when Facebook Live became kind of popular, where if you weren't like before, when it came to Facebook Live, you had to have like a business account. You had to have all these followers and stuff like that. Right around the time when, everyone was pretty much able to go live, I started doing lives in different groups. A lot of the times those lives would be deleted or, like they would be deleted, or they would delete me out of groups because of it, because people just didn't understand the whole lives thing at first. And so I created my first group, which was Sillaholics Anonymous. And the name just came from the fact that I was addicted to using Silhouette Studio. And so when you think about where do people go for help and they're addicted to something, it's, something anonymous. So that's where Sillaholics Anonymous originated from. And it really came from, a lot of stuff that I still experience now. The fact that people were just rejecting the help that I was trying to give. So I started, I think the Facebook group or the YouTube channel came first. So when they wouldn't let me go live, I ended up creating a YouTube channel so that I can at least record the videos and be able to post, because they allowed that. And then eventually those were not allowed because people were like, okay, well, you can't share other videos because I do videos. That's how I make money. So then I created my Facebook group, Sillaholics Anonymous, and it has grown. So that's just, we're going to get to that part, but that's just a little bit about me and what Silaholics Anonymous is. It was a way for me to be able to share what I was learning, what I already knew from using Silhouette Studio, which is a program that you use to control or use to work the silhouette machines, such as the Cameo, the Portrait, the Curio, and things like that. But the program itself, very versatile. I mean, it changed how I did business as an event planner. So a little bit about me. I am in my last year of my 30s, approaching Team 40, which I'm actually quite excited about. I've always been a very, 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 very crafty person. And I like to tinker with things. From young, I was one of those that like Legos. I like to break stuff down and build it back up. Graphic design pretty much I was a nerd. So like really thinking about arts and stuff like that. I was a math geek, I was a science geek, and I was a drama geek. Like acting was my passion. I always thought that I would grow up and I would be on someone's big screen acting. And that was always the dream of mine, was to be in Hollywood. I did like since high school, I think I've done like 2 plays. That's it. So, but I grew up in a time where you could go to summer school, to take the next set of classes. Like summer school wasn't just if you failed, it was a way for you to not be at home being a couch potato all summer, which I wish they kind of bring it back, but I understand all budget cuts and stuff like that. But I grew up in a time where you can go to summer school. And again, don't forget, I was a geek. I was excited about going to summer school where everybody else was just going to camps and stuff. I wanted to go to school. So in doing that, I always took the next grade levels classes that summer. So then when I got into that grade level, I was taking like the next grade level after that. The summer of my 7th grade year, I took my 8th grade classes. So when I was in the 8th grade, I was taking 9th grade classes. The summer of my 9th grade year, I was taking my 10th grade classes, and so forth and so on. By the time I got to my 11th grade year, the only science that was available for me was anatomy and physiology, which all sounded great because your parents always push on you, become a doctor. My mom still did not really see where I wanted to do as far as like being an actress and like all that kind of stuff. And, wanting to be in movies. It was just like, your parents push on you, become a lawyer, become a doctor, become this, become that. They always want more for you than what they had. But I mean, I always know that God had other plans for me, and the stuff that my mama wanted, God did not want that for me. So, I took anatomy and physiology. It was all good. Dissected the little frog. It was great. Biology, we did the crawfish. Got to, the first semester, we did the little frog. All right, cool. Seen this on TV before. Great. I was okay because they were not alive. Like you see it on TV and you see the frogs like actually jumping and stuff. I don't think we didn't have to kill a frog, because I think I probably would have left right then. We just took them out of a bucket and we dissected them. Hey, cool, great, awesome. Well, here comes second semester and they throw that little piglet in front of me. And I was like, check please. No, thank you. Who finna cut this? And I was just as animated back then as I am now. And I guarantee you, I told my teacher, who finna open this? Who finna cut this? Not me. And then, of course, Shakeya, you have to whatever it is, 75% of your grade. Oh, well, I'm just going to take the F then, because what we're not going to do, I'm not cutting up no pig. That's a whole pig. That's a baby pig. And I'm talking to my teacher just like this. And so then that, of course, turned into me disturbing the class. And that ended up with me being in the counselor's office. Problem. They want me to cut up a pig. Who? No, not. That's not going to happen. So somebody transfer me out of that class, or I'm just going to take this F. But Shakeya, great point. I don't care. What I'm not about to do is about to cut up no pig. So we sat down. Okay, well, what do you plan to do? Because this is the only science that's left. Well, guess what? I guess I'm done with science then. There has to be some other options. I'm like, I know my friend does work study. Can I work in the office? Oh, well, all those positions. Find something. Because what we're not going to do is we're not about to cut up no pig. So that day I got to sit in the office and I was, answering phones and like, cause I was, promise y'all, I wasn't going back to that desk with that pig. I had my friend bring me my book bag. They had pigs on the table. I was not going back in that class. Had my friend bring me my stuff down to the office. Not gonna happen. Um, so then I it was okay, so it was that one, and I think at that time I was doing newspaper, but I was the sports editor. Yes, I'm a geek who also likes sports. Was in track, was a cheerleader, loved basketball, so I was a sports editor. And so then after that period, I want to say we went to lunch and then someone was saying, well, you're doing like the sports page, whatever, if you want to try and learn, like, um, they have the graphics classes right across like the hall. Always saw it there, never paid the attention because I'm just like, it just seemed like there was a bunch of noise over there. So I ended up going across there just to kind of peek in and kind of saw some of the stuff they were doing. So then I went to my counselor. Is there any way for me to get into that class? And so they kind of, figured out some things. And so I ended up taking my first graphics class. And in that one, learning Photoshop, Illustrator, learning about screen printing. First time I used like a laser engraver, doing film exposure in a dark room. And I was like, dang, we have all this. Why nobody ever tell you about this class when you're going over classes and electives and stuff? I knew nothing about it. Like we talked about, like I remember them mentioning like wood shop and stuff like that, and that just wasn't gonna happen because that just seemed very boyish, and I'm like, that just wasn't gonna happen. But then I got into it, and I'm just like, yo, no one ever tells you about this. So from that opened up a whole different world for me to where the following year I ended up doing newspaper and yearbook. So doing layouts for the yearbook was a freaking amazing. Like I knew newspaper and like doing journalism and stuff like that or whatever, but like to do the yearbook, it was a freaking amazing. So that's kind of where it all started. And I was just so like, I was really, really, really into it. I asked my mom to buy me the program, which if any of you guys know, Photoshop cost an arm and a leg. It's not cheap. Now you have it where you can do like the subscription, but back then you were paying a couple thousand bucks, close to $1,000 for like Photoshop and all of that, like to have the full version of it. Sharon Hadley looked at me like, girl, bye. Lies. Not going to pay for that. So back then you had what was LimeWire, and you had like, remember Napster and LimeWire and all that stuff. So you can get illegal programs from LimeWire. So not ashamed to admit it. I went on LimeWire and I purchased like a hack code or like the unlock code, whatever, for Corel Draw. I taught myself Corel Draw. I had to really, really like learn that one because it was totally different from what we were doing in the graphics class, but it was still yet the same. So I went, ended up sneaking for that because I wasn't supposed to be on LimeWire because you can also get porn on LimeWire. And my mom was like, get your behind off of there because it's all kind of stuff on there. But I ended up getting the code for Corel Draw. And that's more so what I knew. I knew Corel Draw. And when it was time to go and, graduate, what do you want to do? As much of a geek that I was, or like I liked science and math, I was not ready to go to anybody's college. I was actually over it by then, and I didn't want to go to anyone's college. Just by chance, I had a conversation with someone, and someone brought up the military, and I was like, "Oh, I'm not going to." So then someone was like, okay, well, you don't have to go into like the army, whatever, like the way you are, how smart you are, have you thought about like the Air Force? But it's still the military. No. Oh, it's a lot different. They have different jobs. They have this. So they sold me on it, saw the recruiter, and it was like, okay, just take the test just to take it. Well, I took it, and some of the things where like being in a class with a bunch of guys and you're talking about like auto and stuff like that, stuff like carburetors and that I probably would have never had exposure to came up on the test. Long story short, I scored high enough on the ASVAB to where I can have pretty much any job I wanted in the Air Force except a linguist. That was the only job that I could not choose from. So I chose radio communication. Totally did not realize what that was. It was like it was communication. I thought it was more going to be like more so like radio type stuff. Oh, it was radio, all right, but I was fixing radios. But I always had this thing where, like I said, I like to take things apart. When I got into the Air Force and at my different duty stations, I would be the one to take apart a computer and fix it. You get a cracked screen, I was fixing it. I was fixing cell phones. I just like fixing things. I like to break them and fix them. So I had my choice of a job. I chose ground radio communication. From there, I went to schooling that was 9 months long. And I remember telling my mom, I came to the Air Force because everyone said that basic training, like, oh, the Air Force has the shortest basic training. It's only 6 weeks. You go to do your duty station. You'll be there, a few weeks or whatever. 9 months. I was in tech school for this crazy job of mine. And then decided that, oh, well, I want to be the first. And, they had this new thing when it came to, what's this thing called? Air traffic control, and they had like this new system, and it's like, well, Airman Lavelle, if you want, you could stay here and learn this, and that way you can have your choice of any duty station, because this is going to be a new system that's going in, and as we're putting it in, you can choose any station that you want it to go to. Oh, that gives me a choice of where I go at. Cool, let's do this. Well, I'm a girly girl. I'm kind of a nerd. That came to that shooting part. So I did horrible on my shooting. Horrible. Don't put a gun in my hand. I can't shoot worth a darn. I'm letting you know that now. If it came down to it, don't expect for me to defend you with the gun. I can't shoot. I can't shoot at all. I'm terrified of guns. There's another story about why I'm terrified of guns, but I'm terrified of guns. I can't shoot. Don't ever think because those who are in the military can protect you. They can shoot. They can do this. I'm horrible at shooting. Horrible. Not going to protect you very much. So, I was going to say, lost my whole train of thought talking about the fact that I can't shoot. Oh, so I end up taking on this. I told my mom, I'm like, dude, I did not want to stay in extended school, but now I'm here to where I was in tech school for pretty much a year. Then I went to Korea. In Korea, it's a remote location. You don't have your friend, you don't have family there, but you still have special occasions. You have people that have birthdays, you have anniversaries, you have people that, pass away and stuff like that. I was always an event. I planned events. I think I planned my first event was helping plan one of my friend's sweet 16s, not very, very big, but it was like, it was a little something. So I got into like event planning. I did not have my computer that I had my illegal LimeWire on, my legal Corel Draw on. And so I ended up working the hell out of Microsoft Word. Not sure if you guys see, if you ever go to my Instagram, there is a picture of some invitations. One is like a baby shower. It's like rain and it's like sneakers. And then there's another one with sneakers. It's a Sweet 16. It's Adidas. Those were all done in Microsoft Word. But back then, Word was totally different. So just being in Korea and being in somewhere where you don't have access to a lot of stuff, I became very, 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 like my creative juices were flowing because I was still that one that had to do all of the events and stuff like that for, friends, for birthdays and stuff, putting stuff together. The things that I came up with and how I decorated, spray paint became my friend. I learned to cut. Well, I already knew how to cut paper because I was pretty good in art too. But I mean, like the stuff that I would create just by cutting up paper or cutting up boards and spray painting, people were a freaking amazed. It was like, damn, Shakeya, like, really? But it's just that I look at stuff and I see it totally different than how someone would like take something and look at it. I can see beyond what it is and think about a way that I can transform it. And I've always been that way. So went, was in Korea, same thing in Germany. I am not ashamed to admit that I ended up leaving before I really wanted to leave the Air Force. But I always say now it was an experience that I needed to set me up for now. So I did not like get disarmed, discharged, anything like that. I still get all my benefits that lets you know that I did. But I left earlier than what I thought, how I thought I would leave, to come back to the States. And my very first job when I got back here to, I left out the Air Force, got back, and my very first job was I was working at a college, Florida Memorial, then college, now university. And I worked somewhere where it was like they just had this new building built. It was for events and stuff. So it was like, whoa, this is perfect. Like, oh, God just set me up. I'm thinking like this is the greatest job ever. I became the advisor for the freshman class. So with just like dealing with others and speaking and having to talk in those meetings, that kind of set me up for what I do now, like talking in front of a bunch of freshmen. Got that job, and I felt like I own, like it was my baby. Like everything that I did there, they were doing stuff before I came in, and again, I think of stuff totally different. So I created, like different charts and stuff to where, hey, given the maintenance department, this is how you put these tables and things like that. So I will create a diagram, and it was like, oh my God, this made this so much easier. Like that's just always been my thing is, how can we work smarter, not harder? In every job that I have had, I have tried to figure out a plan to make it where you can work smarter, not harder. The maintenance department was in love with it. Oh my God, like no one ever thought about this, like because they can go in and it was just like boom, 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 boom. Again, science geek, math geek, down to the numbers. I did everything to scale. And they would come in, set it up, and they were like, they never did stuff that quick before because it was always, well, where do you want this? How do you want that? And no one could ever answer. So I ended up having that job. It was great. It was me and Miss Halliburton. We got a new person in, new kid on the block. They hired someone else because they wanted to expand and reach more people to get others into this facility, to get more money in, because that was one that you had to pay for. And I think that was one of the first times I had like the first boss from hell. And she was just horrible. She was after I left and I saw her later and she just saw how who I became. Her attitude towards me was totally different, but I've always had that resistance, and that people did not like how assertive I was, or that, I always wanted more. I never wanted to just be where, okay, whatever you hired me for, I always had ambitions to do more. I want to be to the top. So if I'm going to start here, I'm going to learn every part of this in case I ever, am the head, the manager, or, the director of this department. That is how I approached every single job that I went to. It was, okay, yeah, this is what you hired me for, but I understand that if I'm here, there is somebody that's over me. There's somebody that's over them. There's somebody that's over them. There is the CEO. How do I get to that point? How do I go from here to there? So that's always been how I approach stuff, which wasn't always a good thing. And I didn't understand. And people were always like, Shakeya, you can't always try and take over. Like, that's going to hurt you. Did I end up losing that job? Now, that one I got fired from because it was people being afraid of you knowing more than them, feeling like they are at the top, but all directives, all orders should come from them. You should be stuck under them, and people not being able to handle, which is why I can handle that now, where people feel like I should be in a bubble. I've never been in a bubble. I've never walked a straight line. I've always been one to where, oh, I'm going to show you. Don't think because of your little title or this or that you know more than me. Oh, I can show you better than I can tell you. That has always been who I am. And it has had its good moments and it's helped me, but it's also, it's caused like for me to experience hurt, because losing that job and then having to leave my students, because like I said, I was the advisor for the freshman class. I was the advisor for Miss Florida Memorial. So losing that, it was hard on me, and it was a hard hit. So after that, I end up taking a job. I think let me back up, because where am I advertising? And this is why my mom told me I need to do it. When I was in high school, I interned for one of the biggest radio stations here, which is 99 Jams. And in that, like not getting paid, going there, I was on Albie Silk's show. And then that's the first time I think I met Luke, and I was a sheltered kid. So to work a radio station, and then when our radio part was done, after that, not sure if anyone is from Miami, y'all remember when Luke was on the radio and he used to have, what was her name, Pinky, and all the other strippers. So when I'm waiting for my mama and I see all these strippers come in who have dress and all these people, it was culture shock for me because I was a very sheltered kid. But in working at the radio station, Derek B, like this is someone who that's how I got on, and then getting in there and like seeing how they do advertising, understanding how advertising works. Like that is, and I realized now that's what that experience was for. I literally used to walk to the radio station. It's like, you know, your grandma would say, I used to have to walk. No, I walked to the radio station from my house, like for this experience. And I used to hate it. I live in Miami. It's hot. My house, my mom's house is on 187th. At that time, 99 Jams was on 37th Avenue, but at the Palmetto. So anyone who's from Miami, you will know where that, like the distance is. So that is on 100 and is it 60? No, 100 and because there's 75th. I want to say like 160 something, maybe 50 something Avenue. So I used to walk like 30 blocks to get to, because my mom was at work, but she would come pick me up. But that kind of taught me like radio. I was exposed to so many different people, understanding how to deal with celebrities and stuff that will come on the show, understanding advertisement, understanding when they come in and they're wanting certain stuff, understanding quality. And there's a very big difference between, okay, yeah, you can provide something, but then you provide the same thing and it's of quality. How people respond to it. It can be something that's very simple. And I used to make jewelry back then. And, you know, for them to see that and it's like, oh, wow, this is quality. So being put in front of the right person. So I understood that. So this is why I talk about those things so much, because I got that experience in working at a radio station and being around some top name, like, you know, people within the music industry and seeing these celebrities and just seeing how they interact. That gave me that experience to where the day that I am able to be in front of someone who could really change my business, or, you know, the right, maybe investor or right, you know, whatever it is, or just have that, I know, I think it's kind of sort of prepared me for how to handle that, because, you know, I've been in front of them, had my very first experience where, you know, I not knowing who someone was. So that when the first time when Coco from SWV, and then I was thinking about a different one, and I didn't know who the person was, and I got chewed out because I said something wrong. That is what prompted me to be that person. Like that triggered this will never happen again. I am going, like, if something is presented in front of me, I'm going to research the hell out of it. I'm going to know everything A to Z, front, backwards, because that was the most embarrassing thing ever, to be chewed out because I didn't do my research. I didn't know who this great woman with these long ass nails were. And I'm like, yo, I confused her with someone else. That got me to where y'all always say, I research. I'm going to try. I'm going to keep doing it. It is because of that experience. That was another one that changed my life. And I'm like, okay, nope, never going to happen again. I'm going to research. So, again, so now I had to go back to kind of why I research everything, and while I'm like, you know, why I am that way, because that experience and being chewed out by not knowing who that was made it to where everything I do, I'm going to research it. I'm going to make sure that I know it top and bottom. So getting back from that one, I ended up working at PRC, which is a call center. Call centers is like working, it's like hell. But it helped me to understand business, because I was hired to work on the business side of it, like with business accounts. But I often had to go and work over in the one for like personal accounts, you know, like your regular residential accounts, and then you have commercial accounts. So then to see how much more money they charge businesses for cable versus a resident, And then how it works as far as you have select channels, which is why you go into some businesses and you put on this and they don't have it because there's certain packaging you pay for each channel. You don't have like this one thing where all the channels are included. You pay for each channel. So then I was like, I asked the question as to why, and they were just like, okay, well, it's a business. They make money, whatever. So we charge businesses more money. And that's almost kind of sort of how residential and those who are just like the working class, it can be a little bit less for them. And then I did research on that and I found out everyone does that. Your electrical company does that. Your phone company does that. Your water company does that. Everything is more, and they charge you more when you have a business compared to residential. I did not understand why I needed to know that information. I hated that job. I got into like the worst thing ever because, again, I'm a crafter. I like to make stuff. Thought that I was doing the greatest thing ever. I found out about this girl's kids. I made her this bracelet. She wanted to fight me. She threatened me and she followed me or tried to follow me to the parking lot for a week and a half to fight me because for Christmas, I gave her a gift card I didn't give a card. I gave her a personalized bracelet with her daughter's initials, her daughter's birthstones, all this stuff on it. And her words to me was, where on my list did you see I wanted a string with some damn beads on it? Where's my gift card? She tried to fight me for a week and a half over a gift card. I hated that job. But now in this season, I realize what that was for because I know when people ask, now that we're preparing or we want to go and get a business from it, I've always wanted that. I knew once I kind of had that in my mindset that I wanted to have a storefront, I understood what I was going to have to prepare myself for as far as, okay, you're going to need internet there. You're going to need a phone service. You're going to need this. You're going to need that. And it's going to cost more. So what I thought, I'm creating a budget based off of our home stuff, not knowing that it's going to be a lot more when you go into a commercial setting. So that set me up for that. I did not understand why Lord, what was the purpose of this? Because I hated going to that job. I'm going to say hate because there's some good moments, but for the most part, I despise going to that job. Was so glad when I was able to leave. I ended up getting a job at American Airlines Arena, where I also met my husband. He could not stand my guts. He did not want to come in my stand. Oh, that's that crazy girl. She thinks she know everything. You can't come in her stand and you can't touch nothing. They used to tell us how many hey, I've done the math. I know exactly how many people come here. Don't touch my stuff. Don't put them on I don't do waste. Don't put no more hot dogs on my dang on rollers. My husband could not stand coming into my stand because, oh, that's that crazy girl. You can't touch nothing in there. She always don't touch nothing. But he loves me now. But I ended up getting that one. I went there for one job when I finally got, they came back and told me I had the job. Just, I guess, in the way that I presented myself, talking about the experience that I had, I ended up becoming a stand lead. Again, I'm always about working smarter, not harder. They showed us this inventory sheet that we had to do, and you had to balance it out at the end of the night and going and doing all that, taking forever. Oh no. I went and got a smartphone. That's when they had the HTC. That was one of the first smartphones where you had the little stylus, you had Excel on it. I took all that stuff, transferred it over, and I had it on my phone. So where at the end of the night, I go in, I do my count, I put it in. Then I go at the end of the night, I put all my numbers in. It calculates it for me. All I had to do was, I used to bring my laptop, and they told me I couldn't bring my laptop anymore. Okay, that's fine. Went and got the next day after they told me I couldn't, went and got my first HTC phone. Put it all on there because they kept trying to figure out Shakeya. People been here for years. They take forever to come down. From the stand that you're in, it takes forever to count all that stuff. How you finish so fast? Because I ain't crazy like them. Who the hell finished it? It's called technology. Boom, boom. The same thing y'all are doing down here. You're putting the numbers in and it automatically calculates it out. Why in the hell we got to work harder upstairs? They do, not me. And then once I said that, I kind of showed my hand. Oh, that's why you bring your laptop. You can't bring your laptop. One monkey don't stop no show. Guess what? I'm going to figure out a different way. Went out and purchased that HTC. Okay, boom. Still didn't have my laptop. Well, how you still? Y'all said no laptop. Y'all ain't saying nothing about no phone. Everybody else got their phone here. You can't be mad because I got me a good old smartphone. Oh, okay. But I think it made it to where they saw the ambition. They saw that I was a go-getter. From day one, I was ready to take over their company, like straight up. They showed us that video of someone that went from being a prep and this, and now they are a director and like all this other stuff. Oh, that's possible? Cool. That's where I'm trying to be. So I now like now that we're in this season of paper and ink, understanding inventory control, understanding how to place orders, because in my job, I mean, being the stand lead, I'm the one that had to fill out the paperwork on, what do we need for the next game. So when people say, now I'm not knocking anyone as far as what they do as far as their business, and like, they may run out of inventory, they may do this, they may do that. For me, my experience is different. I had to do inventory, and we had to go in and put those numbers in on what we needed restocked before the next game. I understood reading the sales reports and understanding how it was adjusting and how it was fluctuating and what all I needed to order. They'll be like, oh, Shakeya, we don't think you need this, whatever, because of da 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 da. Did I put it on there? Give me my stuff. The warehouse did not like me either. But I was very adamant. Like, I saw what I needed before halftime. Like, I had it down to a science, and no one could understand me. Like, everybody else does all this stuff, and then we end up having to bring them all this product at halftime. Well, I ain't got time for y'all to come in my dang on stand, interrupting my flow. Like, no, this is what I need, but it's not all gonna fit. Don't worry about it. I got it. Went in there, reorganized, whatever. But I had it down to where I did not have all that waste. If anything, it was like 2 hot dogs. My husband can attest to that. It'd be like a few where people were throwing away packs and they were losing so much money. If you had any waste out of my stand, it was probably 2 hot dogs, if that. Like, I had it down to a science, and they did. You don't need all this to start again. Eventually, they stopped questioning me, and they just delivered my stuff because they saw that, okay, she know what the hell she talking about. She don't figure this thing out. How she figured it out, I don't know. But then there were managers that would take me under their wing. I would be able to stick around, and then it came to a point where I was able to go in and like, hey, Shakeya don't her stuff. Shakeya, come, you know how to do this. Come put this in. Oh, really? Y'all gonna let me into the back of the house? All right, then, cool. Then that just sparked this whole thing to where I wanted to become a manager. Like, that was my ultimate goal. It's like understanding, looking to the company, their history and how they operate. I went and worked somewhere else. I used to work at at Dolphin Stadium as well, center plate. They were totally different. Their sanitation, their this, their that was totally different than how it was at Levy and working at the American Airlines Arena. So, went through a couple of different people there. Eventually started dating my now husband, and they forced me out of his department because you can't work for him because he was already there. He was already on the fast track. And at that time, I think he was a manager. You can't sleep with the person who does your reviews. So they moved me to a different department. Could not stand it there. I hated it there. It was like, but I always approach stuff with okay, let's figure out how we're going to change the game on this one. Like, how can I change it up here? She didn't like it either because I would go and I'm like, it didn't make any sense. If you have an event, and then of course it was my background because catering dealt with like all the special events. Okay, well, if you're saying you're going to have this many people, you don't have to go where, okay, you have 4 different sodas. If it's 48 people, you don't go and put 48 of each one. You go and it was a numbers game and you do this. Okay, most people don't like. So I would make a chart. If we did an event, same people. Okay, more of the Pepsi went out than the Sierra Mist or more of this. So guess what? I started mixing it up, whatever. Then we realized, oh, wait, we didn't have to waste so many cases of stuff. We didn't have so much stuff we had to bring back. Duh, Shakeya know what the hell she talking about. Like, this is what I do. I analyze stuff like crazy. Sometimes it's a blessing and a curse because sometimes I will overanalyze stuff. So went in there, but again, those people that don't like those who they feel like is stepping on their toes. And it wasn't that. It's rather than appreciate the fact that you have someone that's truly trying to help and trying to make it easier on everyone, where you're going to look good because guess what? It's saving the company money. Your department is saving the company money. Nope. End up being transferred. Had bumped heads with her so much. transferred out. I'm me. The area that I work in does not change who I am. So they end up putting me in the premium. I was working suites and loges. And I was on what some people would think like, damn, you went from where you were like, a supervisor and now you're up here working a dessert cart. Made it when it came down to it, I was pretty much like over it. They were, with certain things with dessert cart, you had to cut the cakes in certain ways. They would throw away whole cakes because it has to be presented a certain way, because now you're up here with the upper echelon of people and there's rich folk up here in the suites. And when you take the dessert cart out, it has to look a certain way. And I understood that. But why are we wasting food? Like, I didn't understand that. And that is one of the highest food cost items, like at the arena, were their desserts, their cakes. These were like 7, 8 layer freaking cakes. These weren't like little cakes. These were humongous cakes and cookies and all these different things and liquor and all this other stuff. Why are we throwing away all this stuff? I didn't understand it. So I'm like, oh, well, when you go, it has to be one, like when you first take it out, it has to be one slice. But I was like, but by the time, okay, it's one slice missing when we on that end. By the time we get to this end and everybody has, got their stuff, it's still a bunch of slices. Like, this is all cut up and it looks crazy. So why are we throwing away food again? Like, just because there's more than one slice missing out of the cake? All right, don't even worry about it. I stayed behind, cut the cake up, put it on plates. Then guess what happened? We were able, like, there were times where by us doing how they were doing it before, they would start on one end. If someone had a bunch of people that wanted desserts, by the time the end of the game came, guess what? We never made it to the other end. We are closing up. We have to shut down a certain time. Hey, I didn't get mine. But that's because we were spending so much time cutting up cakes and all this other stuff on the other end, and they're getting like 30,000 pieces of cake. So guess what? We're going to cut these. We're going to pre-plate them. We're going to freeze them. I come in, I take them out so they can basically defrost. And yes, we have the beautiful, pretty cake on there. But underneath, guess what we can have? Because they can't see the back. The cake ready to go. Fast service. Here you go. Oh my God, thank you. And it's like, wait, y'all been up here all this time? And they had a mindset of, that's what they told us to do. That's what we're going to do. I've never been that person that's what you told me to do, so I'm going to do it. If it don't make sense, why are we doing it? Like, I don't get that. If it does not make sense, you're wasting product. You're losing the company money. What are we doing? Like, I did not understand that whatsoever. And then we did it. There was no inventory. There was no account for what they needed. They were just ordering cakes. Then when it came down to, they were questioning, well, y'all aren't ordering as many cakes. Why? Oh, Shakeya figured out a system to where we can do this, whatever, and we're not throwing away cakes. And y'all didn't know this? Nope. So then that now puts me on the radar of all of the uppers. So when it came down to it, needed to leave there. I wanted so bad to get back to my department. But again, my husband was there. But then there came a point where there were so many not nonprofit. There were so many contractors and vendors that were coming in. They wanted a supervisor for that. That put me in a position where I now understand contracts. So when I was ready to fully launch my event planning business, I now understood contracts because I had to look at contracts all day long. I saw what it was for a company to present their products to someone to get somewhere. So that now I know when I'm going, and I always talk about, having your gift of gab, having your 2-minute commercial when you are meeting someone and they want to know about what is your business? What can you offer me? How can I benefit from buying from you or partnering with you? I saw these companies do this. I saw how they presented. And then to be amongst not just like managers, to be amongst the directors, the head people in making the decision on who came into the building and what products that what products we wanted. Being a part of that, it made it to where I listened back on their presentation. How did they present it? I mess with my team all the time. I'm like, man, all these other folks, they're doing these videos and they're ratchet. They're not really providing the info, but people just love it. And I'm like, I feel like I'm giving quality info. I'm always live. I'm trying to give out information. I'm trying to be helpful, but my numbers aren't there. My numbers, like my subscribers, the views. I'm like, what the heck is going on? Like, I to be ratchet But I would mess with them, but I go back to being in those presentations, and the people that we chose was based off of how they presented themselves, how they talked about it. Did they sometimes have like the best product? It was things that we tried that probably were a little bit better, but then it was the presentation. How are they going to represent the arena when they're amongst all these different guests? Ends up getting that position, and then there was someone that came in and she was like, oh, I'm gonna take you from them. And she owned a coffee company. She was like a franchisee for Coffee Beanery. She wanted me to come work for her. By this time, I was pregnant and hiding it because, again, not everyone knew of our relationship, but I was pregnant and definitely hiding it. And she kept wanting me to come, and I was just like, no, like, because I had my mind set on, I'm gonna make it to the top of this company. Like, we were going to be the power couple. We were going to take over. He was going to be the CFO. I was going to be the CEO. Like, that's just the crazy thought process I had with me and my husband at this particular job. And God has a way of saying, but that's not the plans I have for you. And my sister came to a concert. They were somewhere where they should not have been. And because someone saw me with them, it came back on me. Now, mind you, I didn't give them the tickets. To this day, I still argue about this because my husband is the one that had the hookup with the folks for the tickets because he was a manager. And he's the one that got my sister the tickets to the concert. But guess who got in trouble? And I did not understand that, but it was all a setup for what is now. So that made it to where I was always afraid to leave. I was afraid to step out on faith. This job is guaranteed. Like, well, at least we thought. We never thought that there would be no sports entertainment. Then COVID hits. Like, it was all, we always thought it was just straight job security for my husband. And, you know, that was a company that was like one of the best of the best. Like, there was no fear of them ever losing their contract with the arena because they had a great relationship. And it's like, you know, we just thought it was job security to work for this company. They have sports arenas. They're at Disney. They're in hotels. They're at school. They're in hospitals. They're everywhere. So it's like job security. Wanted to go to the top of that company. And God said, nope, you won't do it. So I'm going to do it. And he did it through my sister. And I end up getting fired, like, from my dream job to go work for somebody. And I was like, oh, this is great. I end up going from being a supervisor, what was it called? Lord, what was that thing? Subcontractor supervisor. So where now she puts me, and I felt I have a title now. I am the director of operations. Oh, wow, that's like amazing. Like, that was, I think, the biggest salary I had ever seen. Because even in the military, if you don't know, you make pennies in the military, especially as an airman. So I became director of operations. Like, oh, I was so proud. I told my mom, I'm like, oh, snap. Like, I'm director of operations. Like, wow. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot somewhere else that, and I'm in where I'm at now. Before, I probably would have been ashamed to say as far as like how many jobs I've gotten fired from. But I'm sorry. Let me back up a little bit before I get to that one. By working at the arena, I mean, it's still seasonal. I still got bills. I end up working for Brinks Home Security. So I installed security systems because of my background. I'm not sure if I kind of went to it. Like, when I was in the military, it was ground radio maintenance. We fixed the radios we fix and maintain the radios they use to talk to air traffic controllers. So that what the pilots and the air traffic controllers use, like, to talk back and forth, we maintain the equipment for that. So I was able, like, back then, you had to, like, scan a schematic and you had to get down to the resistor, to the capacitor. That's why I'm so detailed in how I explain stuff, because I want to get down to the very, very smallest thing that makes, like, if you're doing something in Silhouette Studio, what makes it work this way? And I know I may seem wordy, but I'm trying to get you to understand it, because I feel like if you fully understand how something works, then you will, you'll realize that there's nothing that you can't do. There's like so many different ways that it can be used once you understand the core of it. Yes, I am a Gemini. May 30th. I am a Gemini. So that's what I did when I was like in the Air Force. So when to work for Brinks, again, it was seeing everything I've done. It's for a reason, it's for a season. Every job that you have now, if you have ambitions to own your own business and you want to be able to walk away from a 9 to 5 and do whatever it is that you do, like whether it's custom stuff, if you're selling blanks, you selling summation paper, you're selling ink, think about the job that you have now and what can you take away from it that's going to make you a better business owner. What can you take away from that's going to make you a better boss? It might be you can't stand the way that supervisors communicate with you all and you feel like, well, if it was done this way, maybe we would feel, maybe we would work harder if we knew this or we knew that. At some point in your business, you're going to have employees. In order for you to grow and be successful, you can't do it by yourself. You're going to have some sort of employees. And what type of communication do you have with them? I had someone that posted, and I keep you guys very aware of what's going on. This one, it was like, this is what I love. Communication is key. Being able to communicate back and forth to say, hey, the paper is not here. It's due to be here on the 15th. It takes 2 days. Once it's there, just being able to communicate. And you have so many people where they feel like, in corporate jobs where I'm the boss, I don't have to communicate this. Just know I said this and this is why, and they're not communicating. So in everything that you do now, it can help you in your business because your business is going to grow from just you being in your craft room and you making a few shirts. In order for you to produce volume, you're going to have help. You're going to have staff. So take experiences from the job that you have now. If you like it, if you love it, if you don't like it, there is a lesson in where you are now. If you have goals and you're going to work towards fulfilling those dreams and goals, there is a lesson. There is something from you to learn in what you're going through right now on whatever 9 to 5, 8 to 4, midnight shift, graveyard shift that you are working. There is something for you to get out of that to help you now. So I ended up working for her, and I said it on my walk and talks before. I worked for several successful companies. I mean, working for a radio station that's still around today, working for a college that, of course, now it went from when I was there, it was a college. Now it's a university. Working for one of the biggest sports entertainment, like food companies, like, there is. I worked for the military, successful. Air Force is a successful business. The military is a business, whether y'all know it or not. I never knew what it was to not run a successful business. And that's what that experience brought to me. I was devastated. I'm like, I just had a baby. Like, we just moved into this expensive ass apartment. Like, what the heck? When I lost that job, I'm like, what am I going to do? Like, we moved into this expensive apartment. Like, what the hell? So 3 months after I had my son, I was let go because I took time off. And then when I went back, she used the excuse of like, it was something with me breastfeeding and I didn't understand why. But in that job, like, that lady did not know how to manage money, her inventory. She robbed Peter to pay Paul. She lied about this, lied about that. People weren't getting paid. It was this, it was that. Like, it was the worst. Like, looking at a business, it was like, dude, like, what the hell? How are you borrowing money from this person, trying to get, do this? It was crazy as hell. With less than a year, all the money that she invested into all these different places, 3 different locations, she lost every last one of them in a year. So it's like, do I want to be in a business to where I can potentially lose everything that quickly? It's great. You're on a high horse. You're making money. Oh, I can open up this location, that location. I can, I'm putting in bids to open up all these places. But your business sense, like, you still, a lot of people will see what they deem as success. Oh, I'm making all this money. Oh, whatever. I got 1 location. I have 2 locations. I have 3 locations. I have all of this. But are you managing it properly to where you're going to have longevity, or is it just for now? Companies go belly up for things like this. What were you preparing for? Like, what was your your contingency plan? Did you have one? Right now with COVID, people weren't expecting this. Some companies have been able to stay afloat. Some companies have not, because they only saw what was right in front of them, and they never planned for the future. They never had a contingency plan. They never had ways to switch it up. While there are other companies where, hey, I worked this way, but pre-COVID, now in COVID and post-COVID, we're going to operate this way. My friend Jackie, oh my gosh, I know I don't talk to her as much. If she ever hears this, if someone ever like tags her in this, when I tell y'all I'm about to cry, I am so proud of that woman there, Mrs. White now, because she is married now. Like right before all this happened, for someone to go and sue her and take her to people's court and all this, and people talk about her, she do this, she do that. People don't understand her designs and how she does stuff. Because even for me, I'm like, why you got all this on this table, Jackie? But now to see the growth, I mean, you see this, not just a truck, a van with her business name on it, and the growth. When I tell y'all, like, that is somebody I am super proud of, because people count her out. People don't like her demeanor, her attitude. Why do you deal with like her? It's just like she's very boastful. She's when it comes like the football stuff with her son, it's like people see Jackie on Trash Talk and they see how she is, but they don't see the businesswoman in Jacqueline White. And it's like, I am so super proud of her. And it's like, it's amazing to kind of see that and feel like, being a little part of that, going on to help her set up events and stuff like that. And just seeing her as a totally different person when she's in that mood and she's in her element and setting up an event. It's like, wait a minute. What a crazy lady that be on social media in the football group talking junk. Like, she is boss. She is a businesswoman to the core. And it's like amazing to see it, because people put you in a box, but they don't know your potential. They think they know, but they do not know. So working for someone who did not have businesses, like Jackie turned her, when she called, well, I think you guys saw me when I did the big floor decal. And I was like, why are you doing like events? Like, and she was like, whatever, hey, the money's here. They want to do these small events. People still want to celebrate. So how she was doing these bigger events, like her business grew from her revamping, her switching the game up in the middle of COVID. And it's like her parties just took on a different life form, doing more intimate stuff and just things like that, to where now I can't reveal what she has about, because I don't know if she's revealed it. I know what's going on, but she has something that is big. But when you are business minded and you have had experiences that prepared you for a certain moment, nothing can stop you, not even a pandemic. She has thrived in a pandemic. So no one can tell me that, okay, well, you can't because of this. Oh, because of the pandemic, because of this. Do you know how many people have thrived in the midst of this? What is your mindset? What can you do? Are you going to go and just wait for it to be over and wait for life to go back to normal? It's not going to go back. This is the new normal. So what are you going to do now? Do now. Like, we can whine, we can complain. Yes, we lost jobs. There's certain things, but I'm like, I hear people talk about how the economy has dropped, and yeah, there have been some businesses that they have not been able to, to kind of come out of this. And it's more so like being able to kind of keep their employees and work that way. But then there are others where, okay, hey, we never had delivery. Guess what? We're now going to open up delivery services. Now we can offer that. Okay, we can slowly bring people back. Yeah, it's different from being inside the restaurants and stuff, but your business was able to maintain until, we get back to a point where you can be in there. So I've seen so many businesses with smart people behind the helms where they made that adjustment. And everything that I have experienced from 16 years old, when my very first, I guess you can say, job was me interning at 99 Jams when it was right up the street from my house. So everything from 16 to 39 has prepared me for this moment. I have always wanted a storefront. I'm like, hello, I understand the power of that. Like, you're somewhere where I'm a consumer first. So people just walking by, okay, I mean, places I went into, I'm like, what the heck is this? I just go in there just to peek around. And it's like, oh, wow. So I've always wanted a storefront. Some people think this is a decision that was made overnight to get at this person, get at that person to do. No, this has been a setup. This has been on my dream board for the longest. Like when I lost that job before, it was, I wanted to have an event planning, supply store, because I would go to these places, and being African American, we did not have that in our community. I used to have to go to Hialeah, go to Doral, go to Medley, go away in Fort Lauderdale. Never was there something in my community. And that, it's no offense to anyone that's watching that's of a different ethnicity, different persuasion, or whatever. But for me, seeing in my community what we did not have is, I told y'all, it's always, I need to figure out a way. Every job that I have been on, I need to figure out a way to make it easier, make it better, make it more efficient. And for me, it would have been more efficient for people who do this. I'm not the only one that does this in my community. I support those who do this. Like, I was an event planner. Y'all can ask Jackie how many times, don't ask for $1, a dime. I have the expertise. So guess what? If I can make it a little bit easier on you to where while you stressing over all this other stuff, let me take care of this. I know how to do this. Give somebody else something else to do. Go focus on something else. I support people. Even in that business here, having people block you from their social media. The minute they see events, if they're an event planner, block, they think that you're trying to steal. But what they don't know is you had somebody who was watching you, who probably could have helped you. And is your ego that big to where you can accept the help? I see comments and I see posts of, I be damned, I do it myself before I let somebody say they helped me get to where I'm at. Every customer that you have that buys something from you is helping you get to where you are at. As a business owner, you don't work for yourself. Contrary to popular belief, you do not work for yourself. You work for your customers. You work for your clients. So in all of your success, guess who helped you get there? You cannot be successful if your sales is zero. So that statement drives me up the freaking wall when people say that your ego is so big that you cannot see the fact that someone has helped you along the way. Even if it was someone taking on, oh, you can't go long. I only got 25 seconds remaining on Instagram. I did not know that you can't do a certain amount of time on Instagram. Or maybe it'll jump over. I don't know. But everything has been a setup for where I am now. Some people go, and I know it kind of came off kind of crazy when someone said that, hey, I'm glad to see you're doing boss and you're not just a sidekick. Did that kind of take me to a certain place? Because I was never anyone's sidekick. I've been working at this since I was 16 years old. 16. I have been doing things where it has set me up for this moment. This is not something new to me. This is not something that, I just, decided overnight, let's do this. This is something that I have dreamed of. It has been on my vision board. I have prayed for. I have fasted for. And that's what people don't understand. There is a lot of experience that comes behind this. When people's like, oh, how do you know so much? Because I've experienced so much. I mean, look at all the different career fears, from a radio station, a call center, the military, a college, alarm system company, sports entertainment. So just seeing the food side, but then also just kind of somewhat getting a glimpse of the basketball operation. When you see people or you hear the conversation and you hear certain things and how things operate, to seeing a coffee company, and seeing the back end of this. And that's just part of it. Running my own business, feeling like it was certain things was a success, certain things were a failure. Being a mom, being a wife, being a volunteer at church, being a youth leader, being a volunteer at my son's school, going through all types of medical things with my son, so where I have doctors asking me, are you in the medical profession? Because you know a whole lot about a whole lot. Yes. So there is experience behind everything that I bring. You all see it as just crafting. A lot of people just see it as just crafting, just sublimation, chip bags, just this, just that. And when I go and there's prices behind it for classes, because anyone that has taken my class knows it's never about just what you see the title as. I go in there and I tell you, think outside the box. I give you all types of breakdown for this, that, and the third. And you're getting so much more than what you thought your $40, your $75. My prices and what I charge for classes, how we're pricing paper, it's off of experience. So that's why the title of this was The Experience Behind the Brand. This is not, and I don't even feel like I'm successful. I go, and it's crazy when I go like in Florida Flex, or I see someone, it's like, it's you, you're the lady off of TV. And I'm like, I mean, not like, oh, not off the computer, off of like Facebook and YouTube. And it's like, that's crazy for people to kind of know. And it's like, or they'll ask me about my kids, and I'm like, I don't even know you. But it's like, it's been 5 years of people being basically in my home, me helping people, me doing so many things that people don't see, where some people think that it's money. I had someone say that in the group. Oh, that's why your answers are so vague, because you want to be paid. They got to take your class. They got to book a one-on-one. Y'all don't need times and how many hours I spend on inboxes or people that call my phone and I'm answering questions and stuff. I ended up turning this into a business because my husband was like, look, you spend too much time online. It's either go make money or you go take your behind out here. You go get a regular corporate job. So there is experience behind this brand. Silaholics Anonymous, honestly speaking, do I know everything about everything? No, not right now, but I damn sure make sure that I try. I'm going to try to figure things out. I research it. I was the same way, just like everyone else. And when it comes to like sublimation, and everything was 400 degrees, this, that, and the third, this print setting, that print setting. And based off of who I am and how I've always operated, it's like, okay, nope, there has to be a better way. This makes no sense. Like, let's figure this out. And had I been just underneath someone else or just kind of went with what everyone else said, I would not have realized the power in printing and plain paper, the power in, or finding something where you can go at a lower temperature. And like, even now people like 360, there's no way you can't do that. Sublimation doesn't work at that. Yes, it does. Until someone presents it to you in that way, you would never understand the possibility of what could be. Everything that I do within the business, within my classes and stuff like that, is trying to help people realize what could be. How you design in Silhouette Studio, it starts off as a square, but what can it be? What can it become? It can be a design that you come up with that it can make you thousands of dollars, because guess what? Now everyone wants that file. What can it be? What experience is behind your brand? Everything that you went through, whether it was something traumatic, and it's like, people don't, everyone would say, people don't know my life story. It could be something that you went through that was so traumatic, and you thought that there can never be something beautiful that comes of it. But maybe it's going to be that person that's going to take you to the next level. You can connect on that one thing. What's going to come out of your experience? What is the experience behind your brand? So that's a little bit about me and the experience behind mine that I have. I research everything. I have taught myself so much. I spend hours not working on a project, but hours just kind of playing around, taking notes. Almost every job I've had, I've taken notes, whether it's mental notes or I write it down and try to figure out a way to be able to do it and do it better, or do it to make it to, I'm not even going to say that. I almost ate those words, because the fear of what people say, oh, she's controlling. She thinks she knows it all. Oh, it has to be her way. It's not that. And when I tell people stuff, or I may make a suggestion, it's not to say that what you're doing is wrong. There's more than one way to do it. But could I offer you something that just might make it a little bit easier on you? It might be a little bit more efficient. And people tell me stuff all the time that I have to go back in. I have to digest it. Okay, well, that did make sense. That works a little bit better. But all of it, like I said, and the reason why I titled it the way I did was, it's the experience behind the brand. What you get from me is, like I said, it's a lot. It's just so many different things that has brought me to this point. And I thank each and every one of you for the support. Those who have purchased the paper, you have waited diligently, and just as much as I have for the things that are to come. Those who just, who refer me and recommend me in groups, and that just shows support. And that's all I could ever ask for. I have dreams, I have ambitions of things that I want to do within this business to help others. Am I to a point to where I am super rich? No, we are comfortable. We are able to pay our bills. We're able to take care of our family. Do I aspire to want more? Of course. I think the more that I grow and the more that I elevate, I can help others. It's a cliche, and it's a weird thing to say. Well, if God did it for me, He can do it for you. Um, we have to understand, there's going to be people that are on the lower end of the spectrum, and then you're going to have people that are super rich, super millionaire. Everyone can't be up here, because if everyone is up here, then like let's not pretend. When you're up here, you feel like you don't have to do as much work. Then where do the worker bees come in at? Where are the people that, like, our country, I feel like, and just the world in general, is really run and controlled by worker bees. Like, those who sit up high and look down low, they aren't getting their hands dirty. I sit in here and I get my hands dirty with y'all. I go and I waste products and I test and I test. And I know that I don't reach everyone. There's going to be someone that's like, they didn't see that video. That's why I have no problem repeating stuff over and over again, because maybe you didn't see it when I did it 5 minutes ago. Maybe you came into the live late. I can repeat it for you, or I know I have somewhere to direct you to go and do, and to go to watch it, because, I know I can't reach everybody. You just can't. Like, I know I cannot reach everybody, but I'm going to keep on doing this. I had someone say I have been the same exact person from the day that they met me until now. And it's a good thing and it's a bad thing, because I would hope that I'm not the exact same and that you have seen some growth in what I have done and some type of elevation, because we never want to stay stagnant. Like, in in whatever we do, you don't want to stay stagnant. There should always be some growth and some elevation. You should always be adding experience to your brand. You should always be adding experience to your brand. All right. So, I don't even know how many comments are here. I just see this thing going up and down. I'm going to try and look through a couple of them to see if there's like questions, or if it's just kind of just feedback. Because there's a lot here. Just kind of going through a little bit. Because I see all the different platforms here. Raven, hello, honey. Let's see. Okay, you guys are asking other questions. We did pigs too. That pig, yeah, I know. I talked about the pig before. Thank you, Leo. Oh, I had to do all the cutting. My teammates were yeah, I can't. Yeah. So it's a lot here. I'm definitely going to go through all because with StreamYard, I can see everything on here. When you are gifted and talented, it's hard working for and with others. Lots of folks won't like or understand you. Lots of jealous. And I had it's so weird to kind of like see the, like, when people say like people being jealous, and it's like, I don't want anyone to ever feel that way, or to think like, okay, someone might be jealous or like a hater, but it's like, I'm okay with you being uncomfortable with my growth or my success, because I would hope that you being uncomfortable looking at me shine will inspire you to find your own shine, to find your own light. Jealousy and being jealous is a very strong and it's a powerful word, and there is power in your words. There's life and death in the tongue. So when you go and you put words out like jealousy and being jealous it always has a negative connotation. So I don't like to use words like that, but I'm okay with you being uncomfortable. I'm okay with, you having something to say that might not be so positive because you don't know. I'm okay with, and some people don't like the word ignorance, but ignorance is just not knowing. And you have a lot of people who have made some ignorant comments, some ignorant posts. You've made some ignorant business decisions. And you know what? some people have said to stay in a certain place and not speak on stuff. But God is telling me something else, because I'll go and I'll put out, and I'm not going to do it. It's not in a bad way. But people did things to get my attention. Trust and believe what you wanted. Sure, people did it. And I never spoke on it because there was no reason for me to speak on it. And the things that were said, posts that were made about, about different things. And you can be successful. You can be the first, but you can also, you won't be the last. I don't understand the jabs that were made or what was trying to be portrayed, because there was someone that was the first shirt company, but that first one, how many times have they been brought? Did they ever sell their company? Were they brought out? Did they lose their company? Did power change from person, like from person to person? Is that the only shirt company? There was someone that made the first plane, but now how many different manufacturers of planes? And you have some that are more successful. Same thing with cars, with everything in this, in how we operate as a people, in not just this country, in the world. Someone always has to be the first. Micaiah, Jeremiah, even Pericles is our first son. But does that mean that we don't pay as much? That's about to make me cry. As much as attention to our second son, Zion, Imani, even Pericles? No. So I don't understand what this boastfulness is, or wanting to come for someone saying that you are the first, as if someone's trying to copy you. There is experience behind this brand. You are not the first to do it, because and you are not the first. You won't be the last. But you don't watch yourself. Your next move can be your last in this. Do know that. I have never, I go and I talk about, yeah, I'm a know-it-all. I'm going to pat myself on the back. But in that, I always still encourage people. And I don't encourage people by trying to bring someone else down. That's just wrong, because people always say the crab in the bucket mentality. A lot of people think that crab in the bucket, and how they think of it is that there's one and they're pushing everybody down to get to the top. There are people who have talked to me and they can tell you, I don't think that way when it comes to crabs in the bucket. I've talked about this before on a walk and talk. For me, crabs in the bucket is we all need to get out of this. And if we go, and if one goes, we're going to climb up this metal pot and we're going to slide back down. So we have to help each other. We're all going to get under you and push you to the top. And once you get to the top and you're there, guess what? Let's now create a chain to where we all now we've made it to the top. Now let's all get up. One person's made it to the top. Let's all get out this damn pot. Let's all be successful. And you're going to have some people who it's too much work. Oh, I got to hold on to this person and link for this one. So in order for me to get to the top, I have to hold on to you. I have to grab somebody else, So now we've created this chain, or this link that goes to the bottom of the pot. Now, guess what? All the other crabs, they were on a slippery slope. They were on a pot that causes them to slip down. But guess now what they can do? They can go and they can climb up the person that's there. So if you're there and you're holding and you're creating that chain, and everybody else is making it to the top and they're making it out, you might be one of the last ones, because you have to stay there to help them get out. The minute you let go, everybody else falls back down and we have to start back over again. That is how I see crabs in the bucket, is helping one another. And sometimes your time to reach the top may be delayed because you're helping others. But guess what? Once that last crab is out, that one that's on the bottom can go and climb up that one. Then the next one can go and climb up. And the one that was there, guess what? The one who made it to the top first, he had an opportunity to go and just do them. Nobody else can do what I do. I made it. I'm here. But for every crab that came out of that pot, that came up along them, that was a different experience every single time. So that person that made it to the top first now has so much experience, so much poured into them. They are strong. That one that made it to the top had to carry the load of however many crabs was in that pot. Now their strength is unimaginable. The strength that they have to hold and to stay there for that many people to make it out. That is how I see it. So when people go and they want to go and think people hate it, oh, she a hater, she is this, trust and believe. God has blessed me so much through this pandemic, from my husband, who was the breadwinner, to be in a job that we thought would never, it was job security, to have to lose his job because they cannot play at the arena. There's like, it's shut down. There's no money being there. So if there's no money coming in, we're letting everybody off. When it comes back, you're able to be rehired. But for this time, I didn't even realize it's been 7 months since like all this stuff kicked off. It's been a long time. To where it's like, we have a house, we got bills, we got a car, we we've just did certain things like when it came to our home, and to feel like, what the hell do we do now? What's gonna happen now? To where my husband was the one, it was always me supporting his dream and or supporting his career, should I say. Now I get that support. Now I'm able to shine. I had to be the one where, okay, it's just holding on. You're at the top. You're the head of this household. You're taking care of us. I had to wait for my moment. And for anyone that has a problem with it, that is your problem, not mine. That this might be my moment. This is my moment. It wasn't because somebody else told me what I should be doing. Oh, well, I think that might be too much, whatever. Maybe you should try this. We don't have someone doing this. I did not let anyone dictate to me what my path should be other than my experience and God. So all the success that you see, anything that I'm bringing new, it is not because of somebody else. It is not because you have and I wanted that, or I'm trying to take it away. Where is the congratulations? Where was the congratulations? Where is the being happy for someone? When I go, anyone can say that. When I go and I see someone and they've made strides, it's congratulations. It's, oh my God, that's amazing. There's growth. Because if you are selfish enough to want people to stay where you think they need to be at, you are going to crumble so fast. Enjoy your high horse, because if you don't change, it can all crumble at any moment. And those same people who you try to shit on might be the person to help you recover. So be careful what you say. Be careful what you post. People post stuff thinking that they're trying to be inspirational. And some people, they go and they feed into it and don't realize the nastiness that's behind it, the aha behind it. You better watch yourself. The one thing I go and I do stuff to encourage people all the time, because I know firsthand, to see how COVID damn near, like, to be scared that it's about to strip everything from my family, but to have faith, to go and know that through everything that I was going through, I think I was actually on live the day we found out my husband lost his job. Yet I still sat there and helped people through theirs. Got like the worst news ever while I was on a live video. But that did not stop me from doing the job at hand and helping someone else. So understand that there is a lot of experience behind. Oh, it's not. It's right there. Honestly speaking, that name speaks volume, because I can be very honest in my experience with it. People ask, well, are you going to have this? Are you going to have that? I've never used the sawgrass. So how can I stand behind, honestly speaking, and give you direction on if I've never used it? I've never worked with someone so I can see them use it in theirs to know how something would work. So do I want to go and get the sawgrass ink? And I cannot answer questions. I like to be very honest and transparent in what I do. And I think that's going to take us far as a company, as an empire. I'm not just trying to sell ink. I'm not just trying to sell paper. I want to sell reality to those who have a dream of having their own and not always having to work in corporate America. Somebody who wants to become corporate America and they can hire somebody else. They can hire somebody that's and people always say, oh, we got, why can't we all just help? We all started from somewhere. There's so many ways that help can be provided. I mean, it might be, okay, my help is you come work for me and you can kind of see how it is, but I want to be able to do my own. Well, you try to do it on your own. You may not fully understand what it really takes. It might take for you to take a step back to where you're not making all the money from it. So also you can make some money, but you can get that experience and really see how things work from the inside out. So that's just a little bit of me and who I am. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this for an hour and 30 minutes and I did not bore you, but that's just a little bit about me. Like I said, God has you. No one can take it away. Continue to be a blessing to all. She said, I said what I said. Love your leadership even more. May the blessings continue to flow in your life. She said, what song we sing after this? This is church. Y'all are crazy. Leo, I cannot with you. I cannot with you. I cannot with you. Lamont, get off day 3. Oh, that's a good one. The first shall be the last, and the last shall be the first. I know that's right. So yeah, that's just a little bit about me. We will go back to our regularly scheduled programming. And hey, that's my jam though. Hey, that's my jam, Leo. All I do is win, no matter what. That's my jam. Let's go up and they stay there and they stay there up there. And that's homeschool. That's hometown too. So, that's the jam right there. But yes, thank you guys so very much for listening to me. And now my children it's 12 o'clock. Oh, wow. Because the kids are on lunch because I can hear all 3 of them now. So they're on lunch. And for some reason, the air didn't turn on and it's hot right now. So I'm going to get off of here. But again, thank you guys so very much. Understand that there is experience behind this brand for those who choose to support, those who don't. Hey, I still, may not know everyone by name, but do understand that I pray for the success of so many people, because especially those who have families, because that is I've seen it. My mom works somewhere where, there are people who can, barely take care of their families. My mom does a lot of volunteer work with the homeless, and that's always been something that, like, going to games and seeing people and seeing couples, like, it's like you're a whole family on the street. And sometimes it's because, you do have people who prey on people. And by pray, I mean why. So I pray for those who prey on me all the time. And that's not to say you have some people who are like me who are going to pray, pray, for your success. And you're going to have some people that are going to prey on you. Like, there's no way around that. Even after this, this is going to make people so uncomfortable. Oh, it's going to be all the she did this because of this. She did this because of that. She wants people to do this. She wants people to do that. Like, you're going to always get it. There's no way to avoid it. There are going to be people who are unhappy in whatever they have going on to where they're going to make somebody else. Misery loves company. And hurt people hurt people. You have people who allow people to get in their ear and talk a lot. Like, it's they don't have the confidence in themselves to know that they can do it without validation from someone else. They're going to be people who know inside things, and they're going to be like, oh, but you did this, and you were doing certain stuff, for views or whatever, or you were using other people. And that's something else too. And like I said, I'm going to be done, but this is something I promise will be the last one. When people say you use someone to get to where you want it to be, it's all in how you think about it. Go back to those crab in the buckets. Did they use them to get to the top, but did they leave them once they got there? Or was it like, okay, you did what you need to do, and now I'm done with you? Or did you use that experience? Did you use that help to get to where you need to be? We're all using something. You use a heat press to provide stuff for your customers. You use a Cricut. You use different tools to be successful. So that word can be used in so many different ways. No one can ever say, I use them in a negative way to get to a certain place. Oh, I only did this just so. If you were there to help me, whatever success that I got out of it, whatever success you got out of it, we should both be able to look at that success and be like, look what God brought us from. Look what he brought us to. Or if you don't believe in him, hey, look at where I'm at now. I'm better today than I was yesterday. God uses us to be a testimony. God uses us to be a ministry for others. He uses us to be an inspiration to others. There's nothing negative about the word use. So be careful with that word too. And on that, I am going to go because the kids are eating lunch and it's Friday. And I think I want to go eat lunch with them. Probably go out and go get some lunch. I'm not sure if Eva's making lunch, but we'll probably go run out and go get something. I'm going to go have lunch with the kids. So thank you guys very much. And after we have lunch, we'll come back and we'll have some fun and do some other stuff, because someone did ask, am I ever going to do anything with Pigment Ink? I've done so much stuff with Pigment Ink before, but I'm going to figure out something that I can do with Pigment Ink, because we've been so much on sublimation that we're going to figure out something to do with Pigment Ink. All right. So thank you guys once again so very much. I promise you I'm not going to talk anymore. I'm going to say peace and I'm going to hit end broadcast. All right. I love y'all. Have a great one. Peace.